Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Good evening, guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David onto this channel to bring you the story of what we call Chelsea pushing in for Jules Kounde, then Hakim Ziyech being put up for sale by Chelsea. Another player that is leaving goes by names of Marcus Alonso, and the other going by the names of Kante, whose whereabouts are not yet known on the Chelsea board. Therefore, you're welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share, and if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to wear the lower right bottom corner, smash the subscription button. After smashing it, hit the notification bell that will enable you get notified each and every time I upload a video onto this channel. Without further ado, I really want to go into this story of Hakim Ziyech because we really have lots of things to talk about as far as this story is concerned. When you look on your screen, Fabrizio Romano has come out and said Chelsea are now open to sell Hakim Ziyech in case they receive an important proposal in there for you. This is a very cracking story that has really gotten everyone by storm in there for you because Hakim Ziyech was brought in by Frank Lampard from Ajax, and I really believe that Chelsea coughed close to 45 million pounds for this Moroccan international, and ever since he came in at Chelsea, he has failed really to come in and make his stamp, especially on the field of play, especially under the manager who goes by the name of Thomas Tuchel in there. And when you look at what is happening right now at Chelsea, it looks like the system does not favor him a lot, because when you look at the system that Thomas Tuchel plays with, he plays with three centre-backs. That is Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Chalobah. Then he goes in to play with a four-man midfield of James, this other Spanish guy, Marcus Alonso, N'Golo Kante, and Jorginho. Then he plays with two attacking forwards and one center forward. So when you look at Hakim Ziyech, he's not so much good when he's playing in the middle of the park. All of us got to admire Hakim Ziyech when he was at Ajax, when he was really being used by Erik ten Hag as a right attacking midfielder in there for you. So he plays so much better when he's coming off from that side. And guess what this manager of Chelsea is doing? You get, the manager of Chelsea has gone in to go in and really get him to another level of playing him behind that forward, because in the system that Chelsea plays, the left back and the right back of Chelsea are the wingers. They are the wingers. It's like a 3-5-2 but a modified one. So when you look at Ziyech, he has not really enjoyed enough playing time on the side which goes by names of Chelsea, and everything is not going on as it's going in there for you. And I really believe that he can push for this move because Chelsea is not like Manchester United, that they've changed their manager. Their manager has shown that he has the likes of Christian Pulisic, he trusts them more than you, Hampton Odoi. He has played more football than Hakim Ziyech, not until he got an injury. Loftus Ruben Check has played more game time. Mason Mount has played lots of games, and Kai Havertz. So, and there is Timo Werner. So that's what Chelsea has in stock, and they really believe that a man who goes by names of Ziyech is excess to what they have, and they really want to let him off. And I really believe that it will be a good move for Ziyech, because when you are playing under a manager who does not really utilize your potential, then that means you're not really going to go on and prosper to the levels that we really expected him to be, because he was one of the prospects that we thought that are really going to make it big into this footballing area, especially in the Premier League. When we heard that, oh, Hakim Ziyech has signed for Chelsea, we who don't support Chelsea got to know, oh my God, it's really something bad in there for you. It was bad news for other teams, because when you look at that Ziyech, who was in that Ajax team that had De Jong, Danny Van Beek, Matthias de Ligt, Dusan Tadic, that really knocked out Juventus on the quarterfinal. They played the semi-final where they really bowled by Spurs, luckily by 3-2, and they really went through on an aggregate of 4-3 goals in there for you. I really believe that Hakim Ziyech of that time was so much deadly, and he came in the year of 2020, I think. That summer he came in through because Chelsea brought in close to 5 players. They brought in Eduardo Mendy, Thiago Silva, they brought in Timo Werner, they brought in Kai Havertz. You get, all those players were brought in by a man who goes by names of Frank Lampard by then, who was the manager of Chelsea. But now, the manager who brought him in at Chelsea was sacked, and after he was sacked, then Thomas Tuchel came in through, and Thomas Tuchel has not really shown a man who goes by the names of Ziyech that I really need your services here at Chelsea. And I really believe that that's what is really forcing this move out of Chelsea, that is Ziyech in there for you. So guys, I don't know what you think about Ziyech getting out of Chelsea. Feel free to go into the comment section and tell me what you think about that move. Then Fabrizio Romano goes ahead to say that Marcos Alonso will leave with Barca still leading the race. You get? Marcos Alonso is leaving, but when you look at Marcos Alonso leaving, they're only left with Ben Chilwell, because Malanga Sarr plays far much better in a central defensive role, and when you really give him that line, he cannot really control it very well. Ben Chilwell has been out because of an injury, and I think he has been out for close to 6 months. That is Ben Chilwell in here for you at Chelsea, and Ben Chilwell being out means that they're left with an option which goes by the names of Marcos Alonso. And Marcos Alonso leaving now, that means Chelsea have to go on market and get in another left back. So that is increasing by a lot of work that Chelsea have to do. Chelsea have already lost Christensen and Rudiger to Barcelona and Real Madrid respectively. And if at all they really let out Marcos Alonso, Ziyech, those are 4 players to be replaced. Yet there are some other places or positions in the team of Chelsea that need to be reinforced. So I really believe that Chelsea are really having lots of works to do, and I really believe that better late than never. Sorry, better early than late, because they need to get these signings out, and they bring in new signings without further ado. You get, and we are told that Chelsea is really going to go on and get its ownership to be really put into order, to start working today. Let's wait and see by the end of today whether it will come happening, because this is what is really remaining for Chelsea to start making business. I really believe that Chelsea are really going to go big in the market, having new people who have really taken over Chelsea. That means different news altogether for you. They are really going to go in and really show that, all right, we are the big guys in there for you. When you look at another man, N'Golo Kante, talks soon with N'Golo Kante to discuss his contract situation. Jorginho waiting to. So when you look at Chelsea, they really need to sort these things out. You can't lose N'Golo Kante and Jorginho at the same time, because if at all Jorginho gets really a very good offer, trust me, he can leave Chelsea, because Chelsea looks like they have lost their grip. They have lost their grip, and they need to go on and do lots of things in there for you. So to me, I really believe that Chelsea should really rise up their stockings and do the needful and come on and really let themselves roll as soon as possible, because for us to really get to know that these teams are seriously verging for the title of the Premier League, it's going to require every team to make its signings before 1st July. Any serious team would like to have all its signings in before 1st July, and the outs out before 1st July. By the way, the outs should even go by the first week of June, such that you really get ample time to close in on deals that you want to act as replacements for those players that have left, because they'll get you money. Because if at all you sell Ziyech, N'Golo Kante, those two really can gather, I think, like 50 million pounds or 60. You get, they can gather you like 60 million pounds in there for you. And I really believe that Chelsea can really go on and do the needful and really help itself prosper the way they want to prosper, because nothing can go on without something known as money in there for you. So that is Chelsea for you, and we wait and see what is going to happen in there for you. So to me, I really believe that Chelsea should go in and do these signings as soon as possible, because in the preseason, it's better for Thomas Tuchel to really do a rebuild and really reinforce his team, knowing that I don't have so and so on my team in there for you. Now let's go to a man who goes by the names of Jules Kounde. Jules Kounde is a French international who plays for Sevilla. You know that very well, and this lad is really over the hook. When you look at this season, Jules Kounde has gone ahead to play 32 games and scored 2 goals in the La Liga, 4 games in the UEFA Europa League, you get, and 5 games in the Champions League. That means he has played a total of 41 games. That means he's not an injury-prone player. And if there is a player that Chelsea need, he's the one, because they really need to go in and make replacements for the 2 centre-forwards, the centre-backs they've lost. Remember, Chelsea have lost their centre-forward who goes by the names of, what? There is Rudiger. They've lost Rudiger. He goes by the names of what? Rudiger, moreover, on a free to Real Madrid. They've lost Christensen on a free to Barcelona. You get? So they really need to get in a replacement of a man who goes by names of Jules Kounde, and we believe that is the perfect replacement for all what they need. Now, when you look at Fabrizio Romano, way back on the 2nd of May, came out and said Chelsea are still considering Jules Kounde as one of their potential targets. He is among 3 close to 4 options. Sorry about that. He's among close to 3 or 4 options on the CB list. Tuchel's big fan of Kounde since 2 years. Sevilla always asked £80 million release to be activated if at all Chelsea need this player. So that's what Fabrizio Romano went ahead to say. Then he later went ahead to say Kounde has been top of the list for Chelsea for months. He's considered a serious option and the player would love a Premier League move. Release clause is 80 million euros. Chelsea will push to sign Kounde, working on it since long time. Plan hasn't changed. So when you look at Chelsea coming in and getting in Jules Kounde, it's going to be a very good signing. He's good on the ball, good going forward, and I really believe that in that 3-man midfield of Thomas Tuchel that he really likes most, he's really going to be a very good addition. He's going to be a beast into that team because that team really needs to reinforce into that side. Having lost Rudiger and Christensen, you need to get in 2 more center backs in there for you, because that means Chelsea is left only with Malanga Sarr, Thiago Silva and Chalobah, only 3, and those are the ones that will be available to play that game of football always. That means when any one of those gets an injury, then they'll be called to go back to the default setting of a 4-2-3-1 that Thomas Tuchel doesn't fancy in there for you. So to me, I really believe that it's really a positive time and change for a side which goes by names of Chelsea, and when they bring in Jules Kounde, he's really going to do wonders for them because I really like him. He's not as tall as others, he's short, but he is good in the air. The way he jumps, going forward, he gets you those goals. That means Chelsea will really be having an improved centre-back in there for you, though they've lost 2 players on a free because Rudiger right now is worth £60 million. Christensen is worth like 40. That means Chelsea have lost £100 million. That is something that Chelsea have to come in here and mourn for. But when these new people, the new rich gallants that have come in at Chelsea, that means they have to do the needful and really make the fans happy, because Abramovich was so much enticing when it comes to transfers. He used to break the bank to get in players that Chelsea wanted. Now let's wait and see whether these ones are really going to go in and break the bank. Getting in Jules Kounde at 80 million euros or 65 million pounds, they need to go in and get another centre back immediately, because they need to get in 2. Because by adding in Jules Kounde, that means you will be left with 4 in there, and that means you'll be lacking 1 more to play into that centre back side in there for you. So that's what I had for you here on Rokani Media Football. It has been the Chelsea transfer news, who are pushing for Jules Kounde and really want to sell Hakim Ziyech, who has been put up for sale. Then N'Golo Kante discussions are really ongoing. Jorginho and Jorginho are also ongoing. I'll sign out for now. See you later.